The battle continues to brew between anesthesiologists and the health ministry. That story is next. The battle continues between anesthesiologists and the health ministry. Dr. Kallie Honeywood is a specialist anesthesiologist at Kootenay Boundary Regional Hospital in Trail. She talked with us last month about the crisis of recruitment and retention of qualified anesthesiologists at the Kootenay Boundary Hospital. She has since resigned from the hospital out of frustration over the impaired ability to recruit qualified physicians to the anesthesiology department. Once she serves her last 3 months, only 3 qualified physicians will be on staff to provide anesthesiology and care 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, on-call coverage. There should be a minimum of 5. We'll talk with Dr. Honeywood in just a moment. But first, the health minister, Mike de Jong, who was on with Simi Sarah yesterday.
For professionals in the position of the anesthetist, and there are several hundreds of them across the province, and not all are making this threat, but some have chosen to. I think it's unfortunate, and I think it's inappropriate because it causes patients distress and uncertainty. You heard me use some fairly strong language around unprofessional and unethical conduct when a group threatens to hold patients hostage in the way that they are. I know this, that I have already heard from anesthetists who, one, acknowledge that they have issues. They have issues with the BCMA, and they're going to have to resolve those issues with the BCMA. But they have also told me that they have no interest in putting patients at risk or threatening patients in the way that this small group has.
Dr. Honeywood, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
What's your reaction?
I think that the health minister is correct in saying that BC anesthesiologists don't want to place patients in peril. We don't want to withdraw services. We are essentially at a position where we are left with no further choice. We've been locked out of any other way of dealing with the issues that we have. I take some concern with the minister saying that our behavior is unethical to do this when I actually think it's unethical for us to not stand up for our patients and the system that's falling apart around them.
He said unethical and unprofessional.
Right, and we would love to have an ability to resolve the issues with the BCMA. That's true. We have significant issues with the BCMA. They are the only representative that the ministry is willing to deal with, and unfortunately the BCMA has not been representing our interests. For at least 10 years we have been telling the ministry and the BCMA that anesthesiology is reaching a crisis point in this province. For 10 years, they've done nothing to resolve that crisis. It continues to worsen. We're impacting patient care because we can't physically run the operating rooms necessary to decrease our wait lists. The ministry funding of healthcare takes up half of our provincial budget, and yet our wait list has doubled. And we don't have people to get the work done. And without being able to attract qualified anesthesiologists to this province, there's no hope of that happening.
Mike de Jong said yesterday you make, on average, about $340,000 a year, and he acknowledges that anesthesiologists in other part of the country may make more, but at the moment, with budgets hard-pressed, he's having a hard time working up sympathy, and now I'm paraphrasing what he said, but it was certainly the message that he has trouble working up too much sympathy for people making $340,000 a year, demanding more money at this time.
Right. So the point that I'd like to make, Bill, is that when the minister comments on these things, he fails to ever apply a denominator to these numbers. So firstly, you can look up any of our salaries online. They're all published in British Columbia. Every physician's income is published. I can tell you I don't make anywhere near that average, and I work 70 hours a week. So if you are talking about physicians billing $340,000 on average, that means those people are probably working upwards of 100 hours a week. So the minister has failed to apply a denominator to that number first. So I work equivalent to 2 full-time jobs, and I don't make near that average. The second thing is he continues to comment on the number of anesthesiology resources we have in this province. He says that we have had a bigger increase in the numbers of anesthesiologists over the last 5 years than the family physicians have had. What he fails to mention is, are those people still working? And how much are those people working? I can name off, just off the top of my head, 10 people who have got licenses in British Columbia, have come from other provinces, have done a locum for 2 months, and have left never to come back again. So the minister is quoting numbers that he is never putting into context, and they are painting a very disturbing and distorted picture compared to the reality.
Why are you having such difficulty dealing with the BCMA? Because it would seem to me that your real fight is with your professional organization, not the government.
I absolutely agree that we have a significant issue dealing with our provincial association, that's the BCMA. You know, I have only been around in this game since doing my residency. I'm a fairly recent graduate, so I've only been around in this province for 10 years. 5 of that I was pretty protected as a resident. So I don't know what all the history is. I suspect there's a lot of, deep-seated issues. But currently, the problem we have is that there's not a single anesthesiologist representing any anesthesia issues sitting at any BCMA table. So the BCMA is making decisions about recruitment, retention, fee schedules, all that sort of stuff for anesthesiologists without consulting a single physician in our specialty.
Do you have to remain part of the BCMA, or do you have an option?
I haven't been a member of the BCMA for 5 years. So the BCMA, in my opinion, has never spoken for me, and they don't represent my interests. The BC Anesthesiologist Society represents my interests. It understands my specialty. It understands the crisis that this province is in and our inability to care for patients because we don't have the physical resources to do it.
So I mentioned off the top that you have actually resigned your position at the hospital.
I resigned. That will be effective as of June the 5th.
And what are you going to do?
I'm going to take a little bit of time off. I'm going to reacquaint myself with my spouse, spend some time with my friends and my family. I'm going to take some time to eat healthy and exercise regularly, all the stuff that I haven't been able to do because I'm working so hard taking care of other people. I have some locums booked for later in the summer, and we'll just see where the wind takes us. Frankly, I'm a little bit relieved to be quote-unquote retired.
Well, you're far too young to be retired.
Yeah, my husband tells me this also.
And you're a highly trained, skilled anesthesiologist, so I presume that after some time off, you are going to continue in your field.
Oh, absolutely. I love my job. I love what I do. I love working in the operating room. I love taking care of people. I've been on call for the last 24 hours. I was in the hospital this morning helping to deliver a new baby, and it's just to be in the room when a new family is created is just an incredible experience, and I'm so privileged to do what I do.
So is your biggest issue money, or is it having more help?
I think my biggest issue is the toxic work environment that has been created in this province and the inability to recruit more help in order to reduce the load that we carry.
So you'd rather be working 50 hours a week or 40 hours a week and even making less money? Oh,
absolutely, without question. But the problem is, Bill, is that I'm here already. I'm committed to British Columbia. My husband's family is here. So I'm already here. I'm already doing the work and taking the pay that is offered to me. The problem is that we cannot recruit anyone from outside of the country, or outside of the province.
But why? Mr. de Jong makes it sound like there are 100 people willing to come here.
Yeah, Mr. de Jong is, I believe he's grossly misinformed. We do not see that on the ground. I certainly don't see it here in Trail. We've been trying for nearly a year to recruit. The position I left in the Lower Mainland a year ago is still empty. There are positions available in the minister's own riding In Abbotsford Regional Hospital, they have vacancies. They're unable to run operating rooms because they can't recruit an anesthesiologist. I know there have been, of the last several graduating classes, 6 out of 9 in one graduating class have left the province. We need every last one of those graduates to fill the vacancies and then some. And they're leaving the province because they cannot afford to live in this province and make that kind of money and work those kind of hours. They're not willing to sacrifice their families that way.
Dr. Honeywood, thank you.
Thanks for your time, Bill.
Dr. Kallie Honeywood, how much sleep did you get last night?
3 hours.